What's up, YouTube? Ron is back with another Cars and Bids. This time it's a week in review, and this just came out on Sunday, but it basically follows up my initial comments about the cars, and then it follows up with the sale price. So this was a 2003 Acura. I think it made my short list, sold for 145,000. Again, it's a cool car. I think it's going to be a collector's. It's got to be really, really fun to drive. I've never driven one of these. Pop up, no pop up headlights, but it's still great looking. It's that target top. This one is yellow, which is such a fun color. Um, Again, everything checks the boxes, and if I'm doing it for my $1 million garage, a manual Acura in NSX, it's going in there. And even for 145, it doesn't matter. It's an amazing car. So what else? The 6x6 sold also for $200,000. Somebody really liked this car. If you recall, it's got a custom interior. It's got that Constellation Star headliner. I think the seats might be some extra quilting, but it's really just, I don't know, taggy. Taggy is a nice word. I'm sorry to the person that bought it, but it's just so impractical. I'd rather have a Hummer. I'd rather have something really purpose built instead of a G-Wagon that just is extended. So what else? RX-7, man, 63,000. Again, if I'm not spending 150K on the NSX, I'll gladly spend 60K on an RX-7. This one's a different color. I think it's a custom, but this one's got a little bit of mods. It's still got some classic Enki RPF ones, so I think it's worth it. These values have shot up. I remember I could have bought one of these for like 30,000 just a couple years ago, but I said I'm buying a 15 or a 20-year-old car at the time for $30,000, but the values have just skyrocketed. 911 turbo. Again, would you rather have the RX-7, which is arguably slower? I mean, that one's tuned, but not stock, versus a newer 911 turbo? I think it's a 911 turbo, but these are really comparable cars. We have the Denon M5 that sold for 44. Wow, that's pretty expensive. For it's a 10-year-old M5, and it's still sold for 45,000. I think for 44,000, I'm buying a M550 that is a little bit newer, because if you're going to want a daily driver, this car's interior is really dated. It's starting to sag. It's starting to show its age. I get it. It's a fun four-door car, but there's nothing really special about these M5s. I'd rather just get an M550, a newer one that has the same power. Because what are these? Like 500 horsepower, 560. You can get a 500 horsepower non M5, and this one is not going to handle that much better. Ford Thunderbird, what is this? $30,000, quirky. Shark Blue, awesome daily driver. I mean, if you were in the market for a $150,000 daily driver instead of a classic NSX, this is a great car. It's got the wing on there. I don't think I reviewed this one. I don't recall seeing it because I probably would have fawned over uh, this red interior. It's got the crest, it's got the updated console here, the interior. The wing is big. I think it has those risers. I love Shark Blue, but man, this car is it's got the optional aero kit, and it's not everybody's cup of tea. Not a big fan of this wing. The rest of the car looks good, but yeah, what does it say? Shark Blue, Bordeaux Red. That's the red in my Cayman. So 168 new, including 50,000 in options. Holy shit! I mean, that's a $200,000, more than 200,000, and it sold for that much in just about a year with 3,000 miles. So this guy barely got to use his spec and then sold it for a loss. The 2004, again, 30,000. I think these prices will continue to climb. Maybe not to NSX type levels, but definitely approaching that relative amount. Um, let's see if this GT4 is finished yet. We talked about it in my last video. No, it's still at 208,000. Um, this one, 360 gated manual. That really takes, but 100K, I don't know. I think, would I want an old Ferrari, or would I take an old NSX? I would say that the person that chooses the NSX is just a different style. It's the guy that drives around in a t-shirt in a nice car, versus if you want a Ferrari, you've got to work hard to counter the appearances that you convey when you show up in an old Ferrari. But some other cool cars, we've already talked about them. So if you check out my other videos, we'll deep dive into these other cars. But this is a quick review just to confirm what some of these cars are selling for. Smash that like button, and we'll see you next time.